Okay, that's good.
She didn't get me, did you? There, get back in there to get my roll.
Please subscribe show. YouTube Cole Spivey.
They are hard to remember, Stephen King's titles and the different seasons, but spring is Shawshank Redemption, because it's like if you're going to be sprung, right? So that one is an easy one to remember, but they're all different seasons. It's a pretty cool trip. Going from, the order is Shawshank Redemption, and then going into The Body, and then going into Apt Pupil, which I think that one might have to do with summer, because he's off for the summer and he's learning from this Nazi guy that was once kept in a POW camp in Maine, which they really did this stuff. They kept Nazis in POW camps in Maine. They really did this. Then the fourth one is the breathing method or something like that. I wonder if it's called the breathing method. Another interesting fact about Shawshank Redemption is it's also called Rita Hayworth. So it has more than one title, or Shawshank Redemption, which is the spring one in different seasons. So me being the writer and editor, it's actually Shawshank Redemption is Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. Now, to clarify, that opening of different seasons is Hope Springs Eternal. That's how it opens. Hope Springs Eternal. And it's Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. Now we got it. After spring, we go into summer of corruption. Apt Pupil. I don't know why I read it wrong. I must have read it wrong. So we're starting, of course, in different seasons with... That's how hard these things are. They are difficult. It's literature like math. It starts with, of course, Hope Springs Eternal, which is, of course, Shawshank Redemption, or Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. Then we move into the next one, which is Summer of Corruption, which is Apt Pupil. It did take place in the summer. Fall from Innocence is The Body, which is the other version, or the movie, Stand By Me. And we get a little Shakespeare for Winter's Tale. And it is Shakespeare. Winter's Tale is the breathing method. Pretty interesting, huh? It's interesting that all of that starts with hope. Hope Springs Eternal, Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. Summer of Corruption, which is Apt Pupil. Fall from Innocence, which is The Body. And Winter's Tale, the breathing method. The breathing method is very interesting. It's a very interesting story. I did read it. I read it late at night throughout a time when I was working at a bank. I was a banker, just like the protagonist in Shawshank. Well, not exactly like him, but I read it and remember some of it. It is almost sometimes comical. So I read the breathing. I read it kind of out of order. Read them all, a little bit out of order. The breathing method I read, I think, first because I was interested in it. So I started reading that one. Then I switched over to The Body, which is the summer. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said the body is. I kind of have to say them in order. The Fall from Innocence. Fall from Innocence, The Body. I read that one, the whole thing, and I realized it was very different because of the layout. Now, they still use the same dialogue and same characters and everything like that. It's the same characters River Phoenix played and all the other, Wheatley and all the other actors and stuff. The guy there was a dude that hung out with the Corey brothers, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman was in it. But anyway, it's very similar to that, but they have another character in it that goes into the mind of the writer, who is more childlike than you think. And he writes these like comic strip characters that you're listening to, like Rico or something like that. And it's like, where does this come from? So you don't get any of that. And Rob Reiner left it all out. So it's not really a story in a story that he left out, but it's a story that the writer is working on as he's telling the story of his childhood. That's how realistic it is. So he's working on this comic strip noir story with a character named Rico, and he's telling the story that you see in Stand By Me. You got to read the body. So it's called, it's not The Fall. I always get that. It's not The Fall. It's not the spring. It is, wait, is it The Fall? No, that's The Fall. I'm trying to think of The Fall. I'm just getting stuck. You start with spring, and then summer, and then fall. Fall from Innocence. Fall from Innocence. Right, that's the body. So Escape from Maine is a little story that I would hope to get Woody Allen on. Not as a director, but as an actor. Which is probably a daring move, because I would want him to play Burt Chavez. If I got to make it, I think Woody Allen would be great. Now, of course, he may work for a little bit less, because he's old-fashioned. And I'd have to get him the script somehow. But I've always kind of saw Woody Allen as kind of like a teacher in some cinema. Stardust Memories is I've been buying a lot of Woody Allen movies. Stardust Memories, I bought Stardust Memories just recently for like $1.25, and then I got another bargain for $1 or $1.25 or $1. It gets an extra quarter, $1.25 for a movie called Shadows and Fogs, but I didn't have a chance to watch. But I think as an actor, I think he's great. I think he's a great actor. Crazy people, man. Okay. These nutcases. Okay, anyway, we got through it.
Watch out.
But anyway, that's probably who I'd shoot for, and everybody else would be Indy. The only other actor that I can think of that could play me, it's not Rob Lowe, he's too old, is Ant-Man. But that's what people used to say that when I was 27. You know, I gained some weight because I became a father. But he knows who he is. He was an Anchorman. Played the guy that did weird things with his underwear. It's kind of funny. And it's not Zach Braff. Absolutely no. We're talking about money here. Everybody knows his name. Seinfeld talks about him. They're all jealous of him. He played Ant-Man. There's some really good ones that he did. He also helped another writer too. It was a very good movie. It was this guy that learned how to help handicapped people.
Watch out. Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
It was an Anchorman. He did that little, I know that looks like a frog or something, but he did that when with his underwear or something. It's a guy that goes to Maine, he tries to write a book, and then he tries to escape. His parents live up there, and he gets involved with a community theater. He fantasizes that he meets Stephen King along the road, or he has kind of like a dream, kind of like a nightmare that he sees Stephen King like in his car or something. And he sees Stephen King on the road, and there's like a moose in the road that Stephen King's gutting this moose, but he's not wearing any clothing. Sorry about that, Stephen King. And then he hears Stephen King's like voice on the radio. It's kind of set kind of like by Harlow Pond a little bit, that sequence. If you ever go to Harlow Pond, everybody knows where Harlow Pond is. It's out there kind of by Parkman, Maine. And it's also set in that old place of Dover Foxcroft. He lives in like an upstairs apartment that overlooks the actual theater called the Center Theater. And he's writing books. He meets this lady that has 2 kids, and it's kind of that kind of thing. And he gets stoned at a party, but he's like, he didn't really mean to. And these guys take pictures of him while he's drinking, but he's got a Baptist background, so he tells them to remove the photos from Facebook. He's kind of a writery kind of guy. His name is the character's name is Jonah Samuel Camden III. So you already get it. It goes on for about 960 something pages, maybe 967 is what I say. Could be 1,000 pages. A long list of complaints about the wintertime. Because he's from the South, and he wants to leave the North and go back to the South, but he's stuck there, and he's got to save up money, so he gets a job in a wood mill, and he decides to write a book as he's trying to get out. He's got a snow shovel, all this weird stuff happens. He goes snowshoeing with this redheaded chick. A series of dates that don't work out, because he finally meets this one smart Mainer lady from Maine, from Bangor, who's like this biochemist or something, some kind of biologist kind of lady, real smart, like she's studying all this stuff in college, like she's going to the University of Maine. She tells him, she says, look, Mainers don't really marry anyone else but other Mainers. They're homogeneous or something like that. He's like, what? And then it cuts, that kind of thing. He finds out that Maine is like a really, it's kind of about Maine. But he finds out that Maine is a very difficult place to live. Because in the census program, well, when you do a census, everyone goes through a census. They found that people will only live in Maine for up to 2 years, and then they leave. They can only handle about 2 years. These are from outsiders, who they call flatlanders. And so, he goes by Stephen King's house in this one scene, and Stephen King's kind of a character in it, because he's kind of obsessed with Stephen King, so he goes by Stephen King's house, and the lightning's thundering and all this. I may use Michael from Grim Life Collective, I don't know. But I'm trying to think of the guy's name, though, the actor's name. I cannot think of him. He's in Anchorman, and he's pretty talented. He's an Ant-Man. He's in a Marvel thing. But definitely Woody Allen for Burt Chavez. I was thinking Larry David, but listen, when I met Burt, he was very old. Very old. He barely was walking around. He invited me into his truck, and I got to meet his dog, and he talked to me about Asia, because he went to Asia to open a Burt B's kiosk. Now remember, I couldn't film anything at the time because Isabella Rossellini, David Lynch's ex-wife, was doing a documentary about the whole situation, which they called Burt Buzz. You got to watch that one. Anyway, I haven't gotten to the script. It's still only in novel form on Fiction Press in a series of parts. Free to read. All you gotta do is go to Fiction Press under Ash Cole, Ashcole, and just start reading excerpts from Escape from Maine. It's exciting. I had to write it when I lived there. Now remember, I want to say some facts. I was not given an office chair. I was given a restaurant chair that had a hole in the middle, and when I sat in it, my butt would like sink in it. I also auditioned for a film at the time when I was there I had internet, and it was an audition that you do, that you put the thing on, you put the web camera up and you audition. It was for a film called Beauty Inside, who was directed by Drake Dormus. I didn't get it, but other people got it. It was a film about Facebook. I had auditioned for that. It was the first Facebook film made by Drake Dormus. But anyway, these things really did happen when I was there. I hung out at the library sometimes. Like, I remember I met this she was somewhat young woman that had 2 kids in Sangerville. I played guitar, so I try to write these hit songs in Neil Young fashion kind of thing. All these things went on in Escape from Maine. But my whole plan and my whole goal was not to stay there. Very much like Jonah and the Well. It's almost the exact story. Even in the opening of it, I do have a great fish that knocks on the door and swallows this guy up and takes him up north. There's a religious segment. There's a whole religious thing. There was a whole religious communities, all different type of denominations. We're talking everything from Baptist to Pentecostal. I went to a Pentecostal church where they spoke in tongues. That was a segment. It was Gateway Pentecostal in Newport. I hung out at churches because I was trying to find God. Eventually, I stopped smoking. The character smokes in the beginning. He smokes American spirits, yellow pack, and blue, yellow and blue pack. Switching from yellow and blue packs, wherever they had available at the gas station. American spirits were important. I ate certain types of food. I weighed about 155, 150 pounds, and I was 6 foot. And I was smoking American spirits. I quit because there was a guy that lived next door to me in a cabin. He was a Vietnam vet. His name was Chris at the time. He prayed with me, and then the next day I had no sensation. Not sensation. That's not the word. Okay, that's not the right word. The next day I had no cravings for cigarettes. That's right. Had no cravings. So I woke up and I was like, did not want a cigarette. I did drink a little bit, but only at parties and stuff, as social drinking. I lived in 3 different places. I lived in one cabin in Parkman where it was $900 a month to run the oil bill. It was a cabin that ran on oil. When I moved in the December time of 2012. I lived in Guilford when I started working at the wood mill. And that's where I started the book, Escape from Maine. And then I lived in I remember when I finally get back, my parents were divorced when I was about 9. So when I was in Maine, I had to come back to Texas. It's also about the North and South. I did research about the Civil War and about battles of the Civil War while I was there. I even went to Portland and did a little bit of walking around research, took some photographs and stuff about the Civil War. I got to get into this place. I'll tell you about Escape from Maine later, but you got to read it. It's on fictionpress.com under Ash Cole. And it's in segments called Escape from Maine. About 900, maybe 1,000 pages. My pen name is known as Ash Cole. Escape from Maine is posted in segments, and it's up to 900 pages long.